Shalom, Kahalo, Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem, Kakodash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us this truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers up pushing the word in truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. I'm the brother Yeshua. I'm back with the WW3 Daily update. Shalom and salutations to you as well. We're going to make this quick. Just the escalation and what is to come after this. Whether you agree or not, Bakhmut has fallen. And even Zelensky doesn't know what to say. What's next? All right, so we're going to start right here. 2nd Ezra 13 and 31. And one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. It's basically going into World War III. And what happens in the middle of World War III when one realm shall come against one another. But we're not here for that. We're basically here to hear that Bakhmut has fallen. And if you're familiar at all, the Battle of Iwo Jima and these brothers that raised that flag, right? Let's see. Let's go. Bear with me. We're going to say Iwo Jima. Iwo Jima flag, right? Flag raising. That. What's this? Okay. This is an iconic image. Okay. Going back to when these actual, look at this. It's this. Now, when you go back in the true history of this, right, this image, it was a bunch of jakes raising that flag. All right, and they ain't going to tell you that. They're going to hide it. But, you know how they do. Anyway, the image itself, right, is an icon. All right, so what are we going to have? Look at this. See, this proves that it's an icon. All right, what is that? And whatever the fuck that is, but yet and still, okay? So are we going to see this imagery today? Well, let's find out. I'm going to go to Nate. This was 15 hours ago. Canadian prepper breaking news. Something big has happened on NATO's border and Canada's burning. So we're going to skip the Canada's burning part. We're going to get straight to the escalation of war. We all knew that Bakhmut was falling, except for those that don't want to, that are living in in the bizarro world. Here we go.
To morale that would be to hear that the top guy was taken out while Zelensky is out of town, while Bakhmut has fallen, and apparently this counteroffensive is nowhere to be seen. And you got everybody talking about delivering F-16s. Now, I'm going to give you my theory as to what's going on in general before we talk about, the whole 9 yards here. And that is basically that you need to understand that they're going to lie to the.
There's that image. This image says, we took Iwo Jima and we raised our flag. Who's we? This, obviously the Russian. Look at the stance. Look at the pose. Okay. What flag is this? Immediately, when I saw this, I'm like, well, who fought this? Who fought the war in Bakhmut? Right? Okay, now this is the same image, right? Let's look at it again. Same image, if you will. And we understand that one of those flags is the Russian flag. But what is this? Let's take a look at this. Wagner Group What are we going to find here? We're going to find this. Okay, see that? What is this? That is that. Okay, so now you read the whole thing, right? And that is this. Iwo Jima flag raising. It's this. All right? Not this. They're telling you, right? Now, is this propaganda? Is this rumors of war? I don't think so. If you've been paying attention, if you're keeping up with the World War III Daily Update, right, then we're pretty fair and balanced. But you have to be able to, you know, to see what truth is and what propaganda is. Both sides are saying that they won. Let's listen. Let's listen to Nate.
Population. I mean, I've been talking about this since day one, since I made the normalcy bias video for you guys who've been here that long. Before the war started, when we said that it was going to start and that the normalcy bias was thick and that the Ukrainians were telling their population, you don't have to leave, because remember, they needed all the able-bodied males to stay in the country under martial law and conscript them to fight in the war, so they didn't want everybody to rush out before the war started. So they said, don't worry, the Russians aren't going to attack. The exact same thing is going to happen right till the end. And in fact, that same recipe is going to be served to us here in the West. They are going to lie to us. But they're such good liars that everybody's going to fall for it, which is why if you're a thinking person, you're always going to have a head start here. You just got to do a little bit more research. That doesn't mean go off the deep end and down every rabbit hole you find. It just means keep an eye out, be skeptical, be critical, and you're likely going to be ahead of the curve. But I'm guessing that they've realized that they've lost the eastern part of Ukraine. They may still continue with this counteroffensive. I mean, the Russians seem to be concerned about the Zaporozhye region. They have vacated the staff and the personnel, all of the non-essential staff, if you will, from the nuclear power plant. They've evacuated a lot of the population out of those regions, anticipating a major Ukrainian counteroffensive, which of course is aimed at targeting Melitopol and cutting off that land bridge to Crimea. They're going to unload on the Crimean Kerch Bridge with their long-range missiles if they can get them by Russian defense. Maybe they're going to wait for the F-16s for that. Who knows? But I'm thinking, my hunch is, my intuition is that the war is actually lost. Okay, now, I'm not saying this is a guarantee, but if you look at what else is happening on the rest of the battlefield, the northern border of Ukraine is being heavily fortified by Belarus right now. They've been doing this for some time, but they've recently committed to putting dragon's teeth on the border. These are anti-tank barriers, okay? Poland has done the same thing around Belarus. You can see what is happening. They got HIMARS on the Kaliningrad border. They're putting in, what are those, hedgehogs, anti-tank obstacles, barriers along the Polish-Belarusian border. On the Ukrainian border, they're putting all sorts of, they're blowing bridges, they're mining everything, they're preparing for the war. So that's where the war is going to come in the future. All countries in that region are preparing for the war to spill over because maybe, just maybe, we've lost, and this image here, this iconic image now, which is being circulated.
This iconic image, okay, going back to Iwo Jima. See, he didn't make that connection, but pretty clear. Okay.
Is going to signal the beginning of the end. Now, if you're somebody who has been exposed to a lot of both sides of this argument, you will probably come to the conclusion that it's not Russia's intent to go in and conquer all of Europe. Maybe you could make the argument that they want to take the Baltics. Maybe you can make the argument that they want to pay back Poland at some point in time. You definitely can make the argument that they want to maybe take the western part of Ukraine, but even that that would be a lot of baggage. That would be an endless state of asymmetrical conflict. They would likely never get the whole situation under control. There's not the same level of pro Russian sentiment in certain regions that there are in places like Odessa and the four annexed territories where they can kind of hold down without chaos, total chaos erupting right away. But it appears as though that the West is preparing for the war to spill over. Now, remember what they said. Remember what our government said. They said if Russia wins the war, it's World War III.
What was that? If Russia wins the war in Ukraine, they're going to escalate, right? The situation.
It's World War III. What does Russia say? If we lose Crimea, it's World War III. World War III is just synonymous with nuclear weapons.
Okay, so now that Bakhmut, right? Because the Ukrainians, or the beast, if you will, NATO, the EU, and the whore that rideth upon the beast, put a lot of effort into Bakhmut, and then they got that ass whooped. Now what are they going to do? What's the next step? The next step is to try to take Crimea. And they're going to step up the efforts on the part of NATO, the EU, and the whore, which is the beast, and the whore that rideth upon the beast. They're sending long range. Why are they sending long range missiles at this point? This guy actually broke it down a couple of videos back to blow up that land bridge that resupplies Crimea. And he just said that the Russians have drawn a red line at Crimea. And what if they take Crimea? It's what? Okay. Let's see.
But it appears as though that the West is preparing for the war to spill over. Now, remember what they said. Remember what our government said. They said if Russia wins the war, it's World War III.
And now they pretty much won the war. Okay. What is the West going to do right now? They're going to try to take Crimea. That's why they sent the long-range missiles. Okay. Now listen to what he says next.
Does Russia say if we lose Crimea, it's World War III?
Why did they send those long-range missiles? And right now they're sending F-16s. We're going into World War III.
World War III is just synonymous with nuclear weapons, basically, at this point. Now, Ben Wallace, the UK Defense Secretary, comes out today and he says conflict is coming. We need to boost military spending ASAP. How they couldn't think about this is just astonishing. When you have these record rates of inflation, the UK they're taking it up all holes right now. Okay, I feel sorry for people in the UK, but man, you guys are going to be eating a crap sandwich for many years to come.
All right, we'll stop it right there. Let's see what Zelensky thinks about what happened in Bakhmut, and then we'll go ahead and close on that. All right, I could go back quickly. Let me see if I can find where Nate shows that them sending those missiles. Let's see. Patriots. Let's see. What just happened? 3 days. It's just destroyed. It's over. Bakhmut falls. No. I can't see it. 3 days, 2 days. Here it is right here. Okay, breaking news. They fucked around and are about to find out. So what it's showing right here is why they sent those missiles, because they're going to shoot those missiles long range to do what? To destroy this land bridge that this here is Crimea. They're going to try to invade, so they got to stop the resupply route, and then they're going to try to take Crimea back, which is going to escalate the war even further. And you can find it right here in this particular video 9 days ago. So, anyway, I digress. Now let's go to Zelensky, and this is 56 seconds or so. Zelensky confirms that Bakhmut is falling to Russia. Does he really? Let's see what he says, if you can understand his broken English.
Mr. President, President Zelensky, is Bakhmut still in Ukraine's hands? The Russians say they've taken Bakhmut.
I think no. But you have to understand that there is nothing. They destroyed everything. There are no buildings. It's a pity, it's tragedy, but for today, Bakhmut is only in our hearts. There is nothing on this place. So, just ground and a lot of dead Russians. But they came to us. So that our defenders in Bakhmut, they did strong work. And of course we appreciate them for their great job.
Okay, so let you figure that one out. Any comments? Not many. Not any. Comment what? All right, so let's get how do we get out of this? Let's go here. Let's go to Revelation. Let's get out the normal way. What is all of this leading to? Is leading to the last war ever fought. Okay. The War of Armageddon, and then one realm against each other. This, okay. Here is the succession. Revelation 11 and 14. The second woe has passed. Behold, the third woe is coming shortly. The second woe is referring to World War II. The third woe is referring to World War III. What happens directly after World War III? We go back to 2nd Esdras. 13:31. This is World War III. And one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and stop right there. This next phrase, this next sentence is dealing with what happens in the middle of World War III. And one realm against another. This is where the one that you ignorantly call Jesus Christ and the angels of heaven enter into World War III, which is from one realm, meaning the third dimension. World War III is going to be raging. Out of the fourth dimension, another realm is going to come, the angels and Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And that's when World War III is abruptly going to come to an end within the course of an hour. All right, so with that, we will go ahead and let's get that real quick. In Joel, just to back it, a little backing here. It's Joel 3 and 11. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. That's World War III. In the middle of World War III, thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. That's when the angels and Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, come into World War III. Right? Shall we back it a little further? I'll show you what happens at that moment. Back it just a little further. It's Revelation 19 and 19. And I saw the beast, NATO and the EU, and the kings of the earth, all of them, they all came back together. They stopped fighting one another. Right? World War III came to an abrupt stop. They looked at each other and said, what the fuck are we doing? Why are we fighting each other? We got to fight the angels and Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. Right? And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies. Who is the beast? NATO and the EU over there fighting right now. Plus the whore that rideth upon the beast, which is America, right? Those are those three factions, included in the beast, and then everybody else, and the kings of the earth, all of them together, and their armies. And what were they? They stopped fighting each other. They had done what? They came together. Why? To make war against him. Who's him? That sat on the horse. That's Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And against his army, the angels. Rider on the white horse. And I saw heaven open. Uh-oh. There's the fourth dimension. Opening up into the third. And behold, a UFO. Right? And he that sat upon the UFO was called Faithful and True. What is his name? His name is called the Word. Who is the Word? Yahushua, or who you call Jesus is Word. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon UFOs, just like him. White horses, right? Clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And with those lasers that came out of the war chariots, they laid down anybody that came up against them. Okay? So with that, we'll end it right there. We hope that the elect will edify you, brothers and sisters. With that, we're going to say shalom.